Good morning, students. This is Anil Kumar Bojja, Assistant Professor of Chemistry, Government City College, Nayapur. Uh, we are learning about infrared spectroscopy. In today's class, I am going to teach you about uh, quantitative relationship between force constant and bond strength. Uh, so, bond energies of different covalent bonds we are going to discuss in this class, and we have been learned about various properties regarding to infrared spectroscopy in previous classes. So I have explained about energy levels of simple harmonic oscillator and what are vibrations and what type of vibrations they will bring the dipole momentum change in molecule so that they are IR active, that we have discussed in previous class, right? We also learned about the properties of simple harmonic oscillator in last class. Energy levels of simple harmonic oscillator, stretching and bending vibrations, and we have also learned about the qualitative relationship between mass of the atom with vibrational frequency, or the mm, wave number required for the vibration of the bonds, right? So let us discuss about various points of infrared spectroscopy in today's class. So this is the typical IR spectra of a organic molecule you can see here, and right. So rotational transition have smaller energy differences because according to classical theory, to explain the energy levels of molecule, there are electronic energy levels. Between of that electronic levels, we will have vibrational levels, again they have the rotational levels in between them. So rotational transitions have smaller energy difference between the rotational levels will be less compared to the energy difference present between the vibrational levels, as well as their energy again smaller compared to the energy difference present between two electronic levels. So vibrational transitions occurs at higher energies, means because the energy difference is more between vibrational levels compared to the rotational levels, those, so that the vibrational transitions, they occur at higher wave number, higher energy, so higher frequency. Rotational and vibrational transition often occur together. So once the molecule is undergoing to the vibrational transition in the sense, definitely the rotational transition will also takes place, so that rotational as well as vibrational transitions takes place combinedly. So we will get bands regarding to rotational vibrations and translational vibrations in the spectra, right? So here you can see the molecular vibrational spectra or IR spectra of a benzene, where we are taking in this to IR spectra of a organic molecules to happen. So wave number will be taken on x-axis, percentage of transmittance will be taken on y-axis. Here the main difference we can find with this IR spectra with another organic another spectra of organic molecules is, generally we will find the peaks towards up plane, but here we can see the bands. Actually they are not the peaks, bands. This is the band width we can find. Let me annotate here so that it is very easy to us to identify, right? So here it is the bandwidth you can find. This is the bandwidth, and this is the bandwidth, and here also the bandwidth, right? So The band width is somewhat narrower compared to the UV visible spectroscopy, because IR spectroscopy, in IR spectroscopy, the molecules, just by observing the infrared region of radiation, they will undergoes to the rotational as well as vibrational transition. Because of this reason, the halo nature, the band gap will be less, right? So, and one more thing, the bands are downward by taking 100 percentage of transmittance to downward. We will, the peaks, the bands will be distributed, you can find here. So on x-axis we will take the wave number starting from 0 to the wave number that is required to vibrate the uh, 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 a covalent bond present between two atoms in organic molecules. Moreover, the last wavelength value, 4000 centimeter universe, almost all covalent bonds, they undergoes to the bending and stretching vibration. Generally, bending vibration, they require less amount of energy compared to stretching vibrations. In that stretching also, asymmetric stretching requires more energy compared to symmetric stretching. So that, so all over, all chemical bonds, all covalent bonds, they undergoes to the vibrational transition by taking this much quantity containing energy, or the radiation which is having the wave number that is equals to 4000 centimeter universe inverse. Right, let us go for some more examples of hexane. These are the molecules with same number of carbon atoms present in them. We can clearly observe that hexane is a saturated hydrocarbon having 6 carbon atoms in it. So that here CH stretching vibrational frequency is, we can see here, uh, this is the pattern of band formed, and it's a stretching frequency regarding to carbon and carbon. We can get here, we can get the band here regarding to carbon and carbon stretching frequency. Here it is carbon and hydrogen stretching frequency. There are two bands in a IR spectra of hexane. When you compare the spectra of hexene, it is hexane. This is the hexene. See, hexene is having little more uh, uh, typical nature, because number of bands formed in the spectra are more. You can clearly see here. See, these are the bands regarding to carbon hydrogen stretching frequency. Anyway, a saturated carbon atom bonded with hydrogen is appearing at frequency is 2000 centimeter universe. Here also we can see nearly to the 2000 centimeter universe ACH touching frequency we can find. And hexene in the sense carbon hydrogen double bond stretching frequency, that is 30-60 centimeter universe sp2 hybridized carbon atom. It is sp2 hybridized carbon atom bonded with the hydrogen is having a stretching frequency is equals to 30-60 centimeter universe. And carbon carbon double bond stretching frequency we can find at 1660 centimeter universe in the inverse in a spectra. And if we go for hexane molecule, hexane is a alkyne, a terminal hexane, it is terminal alkene. So here carbon-carbon triple bond stretching can be observed at a band regarding to carbon-carbon triple bond stretching can be observed at 2100 centimeter universe. Anyway, we'll also have the saturated carbon with hydrogen bonding, or the saturated carbon are uh, carbon atom with all sigma bonds. All sigma bonds means where that all sigma bonds are connected by the hydrogen atom with carbon atom. So carbon hydrogen stretching frequency, definitely we will find that carbon hydrogen stretching regarding band will appears at uh, this region, you can find the same kind of stretching vibrations here also. Here, carbon hydrogen, the sp carbon hydrogen or triple bonded carbon hydrogen stretching frequency we will find at 3300 centimeter inverse wave number value. So these are the typical spectra of hexane, hexene, and hexane, and this is the representation of IR spectra for a organic molecule. Let us discuss about the determination of force constant. What is force constant? How it is related with the vibrational frequency or wave number, and what is the formula? Let us have some problems regarding to determination of force constant also. So harmonic oscillator model. Yes, to explain the properties of a single covalent bond, or to explain the properties of a covalent bond which is undergoing to the vibration, just we will consider the harmonic oscillator model. Of course, we can apply the harmonic oscillator model for the stretching and bending vibration of molecule bonds present in the molecule, but it is exclusively at lower temperatures. Exclusively, this is the important point that we have to remember is a molecule, a organic molecule or a molecule can follow the uh, can be applied or can be considered as a simple harmonic oscillator at lower temperatures. As the temperature rises, the deviation from simple harmonic oscillation takes place, or the molecule does not undergoes to the simple or the uh, stretching vibrations that are taking place in the molecule cannot be correlated with the simple harmonic oscillator motion. So it attains the anharmonic uh, motion. So temperature is very important factor that we have to remember, that we have to consider, and we can based on that we will apply whether the molecule is uh, can be, whether the molecule can be considered as a simple harmonic oscillator or not. So here, approximate representation of atomic stretching, two masses attached to attached by a spring. So it is approximation, and approximation for harmonic oscillator. So the bond which is considered as a spring, where the spring is bonded with two masses or two objects having mass. Right here also, a chemical bond will also be considered as a spring which is attached to two mass containing objects. Here the objects are atoms we can consider. So here the energy required, energy of that spring is equals to of ky square, of ky square. Y is spring displacement, k is spring constant. Here this is the equilibrium position. Okay, from this equilibrium position, when the object undergoes to a simple harmonic motion, and it displaces here at to this plus a side, or this is the y, this is the displacement at positive angle side or positive direction. Even it will also undergoes to the contraction at negative a side or negative direction side. So this is the motion, this is the distance or displacement taken by the object, where this object is connected with a spring, the spring is connected with another stable object. So this is the displacement we can see. The m represents the mass of this object, right? See, qualitative relation of a force constant to bond energies. So how the force constant influence the bond energy, and how the force constant is related with bond energy. At the same time, with the bond energy, how the vibrational frequencies are related, let us discuss. So here, uh, the dotted curve indicate the harmonic motion of a object, or simply whenever the molecule follows the harmonic oscillation, or it is very similar with if a molecule perform the kind of vibrations which are similar to harmonic oscillations. We can see a dotted curve here. Whenever the temperature is raised, the temperature is raised for the molecule or the ambience where the molecules are present. Therefore, the molecule attains the anharmonic oscillation or anharmonic motion. There, the simple curve. So this is simple curve in the sense the curve which is not depicted with the dotted line. We can see here, this is the path or movement or motion we can find. So this is the dissociation energy. Dissociation energy in the sense whenever the two atoms depart from one another to a greater extent, so the bond undergoes to a dissociation. So here vibrational frequency given by the formula that is equals to 1 by 2 phi under root of k by m, under root of k by m. Here k is a force constant, it is a measure of bond stiffness. M is a reduced mass that can also be indicated with mu, mu, where the bond reduced mass is equals to m1 multiplied with m2 divided by m1 plus m2, whereas this m1 is equals to the mass of one atom, m2 is equals to mass of another atom bonded with a covalent bond. So masses of two atoms that are bonded with a single covalent or double triple covalent bond, and divided by mass of the first atom plus mass of the second atom, that will provide the reduced mass, that is mu. Okay, so here the vibrational frequency is directly proportional to the root of force constant. Vibrational frequency or the wave number uh, for that covalent bond is directly proportional to the root of force constant. Let us discuss about this information after, but let us have some discussion regarding to force constant, bond energies and bond lengths according to their bond strength. See here, type of bonds. There are four types. Generally, bonds are of four types: covalent bonds, ionic bonds, metallic bonds, coordination covalent bonds. Let us have the energy required or bond energy for covalent bonds and ionic bonds. Ionic bond energy, it might be bond dissociation energy or bond formation energy. The bond energy ranges from 700 to 4000 kilojoules per mole. For a triple covalent bond, it would be 800 to 1000. For a covalent double covalent bond, it would be 500 to 700 kilojoules per mole. A single covalent bond's bond energy varies from 200 to 500 kilojoules per mole. So even the bond distance or the nature of atoms that are undergoing to the formation of a single covalent bond will also influences the bond energy. Right. Let us have some more explanation regarding to bond length and bond strength. Hydrofluoric acid, the bond strength, bond length is 0.917 angstrom units. 0.917 angstrom units. Bond energy in a case of kilocalories, it would be 136. 136. Shorter bond and bond energy is more. Shorter bond length is less, then bond energy is more. And in the case of hydrochloric acid, fluorine contains the two shells, hydrogen contains one shell. So the number of shells increases around the nucleus of atom. Therefore, the distance from the nucleus to outermost shell will also increases. Therefore, the atomic radius increases whenever that atom participate in bond formation with other atoms. So that according to the distance, the bond length will be. So Similarly, for the chlorine atom, the chlorine contains the three shells. Whenever it bonded with a hydrogen, then it will produce a hydrochloric acid or hydrogen chloride. The bond length will be 1.28 angstrom units. Its bond energy will be 103 kilocalories per mole. If you multiply that value with 4.3 something, then we will get the value in kilojoules. We will get the value in joules. Therefore, the value will be 432 kilojoules per mole. Similarly, bromine is the element belongs to fourth period of that fourth period, and fourth element, fluorine, chlorine, bromine. That is the third element present in the seventh group. So that four shells will be there. Bond length will again increase. That is equals to 41 angstrom units. Then bond and bond energy is equals to 87 kilocalories per mole. Similarly, for the iodine also, 5 shells will be introduced. Fifth shell will also be introduced for iodine. So the distance will be more. Bond length will be more. That is 1.61 angstrom units. Then the bond energy is equals to 71 kilocalories per mole you can find. As you move from top to bottom, hydrofluoric acid to hydroiodic acid, the bond length is increasing. Once the bond length is more, the dissociation energy or formation energy for that bond will be according to the bond length. Bond length increases, bond energy decreases. Bond length decrease, then bond energy will be more. So bond length is inversely proportional to the bond length present between two atoms. Right. Let us have some more discussion regarding to bond strength and the amount of energy needed for the breaking or ionization of that bond. See, carbon-carbon single bond length is 1.54 angstrom units. 345 kilojoules per mole energy is needed to undergo to break this bond. Carbon-carbon double covalent bond length is 1.34 angstrom units. Its energy is equals to 611 kilojoules per mole. Carbon-carbon triple bond is at a distance of 1.20 angstrom units. Therefore, its energy is 837 kilojoules per mole. Bond energy is the energy, that is the amount of energy needed to break the bond or to form the bond. Similarly, let us go for some other examples. Carbon nitrogen single bond length is 1.43 angstrom units. The bond energy is 290 kilojoules. You can see carbon nitrogen double bond required 615 angstrom kilojoules of energy to cleave. Carbon nitrogen triple bond length is 1.16 angstrom units. You can see from carbon nitrogen single bond to carbon nitrogen triple bond, the bond length is decreasing, therefore bond energy is increasing. Once the bond length is less, bond energy will be more. And similarly, carbon oxygen single bond length is 1.43 angstrom units. You can clearly see that carbon nitrogen single covalent bond length is 1.43 angstrom units. Even carbon oxygen single covalent bond length will also be 1.43 angstrom units. And carbon oxygen double bond length is 1.23 angstrom units, and it required 741 kilojoules of energy to undergo ionization or break. See, the carbon oxygen single covalent bond is requiring 350 kilojoules per mole of energy. Carbon oxygen triple bond anyway does not exist for during the chemical reaction. During the chemical reaction, if there is a possibility for the lone pair electrons present on the oxygen atom to delocalize towards the carbon atom, in a case of carbonyl compound, there will be a chance for the formation of carbon oxygen triple bond, which requires 1080 kilojoules per mole, which that bond energy is equals to 1080 kilojoules per mole. So the bond distance is 1.13 angstrom units. So this is the information I want to convey to you with respective to the force constant. So bond energy is more, then force constant will be more. Force constant is directly proportional to the bond energy. Force constant is directly proportional to the number of bonds present between two atoms. Force constant is inversely proportional to the bond length. Bond length is less, force constant will be more. Bond length is more, force constant will be less. Yes. you can clearly see that, see, here from top to bottom, the number of bonds between two carbon atoms is increasing. The number of the bonds between two carbon atoms is increasing, and bond length is decreasing, bond energy is increasing. Here also, as we move from top to bottom, in a case of carbon and nitrogen bond, the bonds, the number of bonds are increasing, bond length is decreasing, bond energy is increasing. So the simple way, or the conclusion that we can made here is, as the number of bonds increase between the two atoms, bond length will decrease, bond energy will increase. This is the relationship I would like to convey to you people here on the slide. Right. So here you can see in this slide, this is the vibrational frequency nu, that is equals to 1 by 2 phi under root of k by m. So reduced mass, we can able to identify force constant is a characteristic property to a force constant is a characteristic property for each and every covalent bond. It will also depends upon the nature of atoms bonded with a single covalent bond. Okay, so here we can able to identify the vibrational frequency for a covalent bond. As I have already discussed, this dotted curve indicates the harmonic motion, and this normal curve, or the curve which is not with the dotted line dots, will indicate the anharmonic motion. So whenever the molecule undergoes to the anharmonic motion, the bond between two atoms will undergoes to the dissociation. Here you can see these are the vibrational levels. Once the vibrational levels, the limit is crossed, extreme displacement, if it is taken by the atom during its stretching vibrational frequency or stretching vibration, the molecule undergoes to the ionization, or the atom, the bond present between two atoms will be cleaved. Right. Right. Let us calculate the vibrational frequency for a covalent bond with one example. Before of that, let us have some discussion regarding to Hooke's law. How a Hooke's law is important to identify the vibrational frequency of a covalent bond. Let us discuss. The value of stretching vibrational frequency can be calculated through Hooke's law. Value of stretching vibrational frequency of a covalent bond can be calculated through Hooke's law. What is that Hooke's law? Let us see. Nu by C is equals to nu bar. Frequency multiplied with the frequency divided with the velocity of light is equals to the wave number. Wave number nu by C. Therefore, the wave number is equals to 1 by 2 phi c in a bracket k by m1 m2 divided by m1 plus m2. Already in a previous slide, we have studied that m1 multiplied with m2 divided by m1 plus m2 is equals to reduced mass. Reduced mass. Instead of this complete number, complete figure to write, if you write the mu, that would be k by mu. So we will get the shorter form of the equation. Whereas k is the force constant, and m1, m2 are the masses of atoms covalently bonded with a single covalent bond in uh, grams. C is the velocity of light, that is equals to 2.998 into 10 to the power of 10 centimeters per second. If you want to convert it into, you will get 2.998 into 10 to the power of 8 meters per second. If we want to convert that value into kilometers, we can convert that value into kilometers as 2.998 into 10 to the power of 5 kilometers. That means 1 lakh kilometer speed. 1 lakh kilometer speed will be contained by the light. But whenever the light interacts with the medium, once the light interacts with the medium or light enters into the atmosphere, there will be the medium. Once the medium is denser, the velocity will be influenced largely. The velocity of light will be influenced lightly. largely. Once the medium is low denser or not that much denser one, free to move, therefore anyway the light interacts with the matter. What, with how many number of particles the light is interacting, or with how many number of particles present in a cubic centimeter through that the light is passing, it is a matter. So that is nothing but density of the uh, medium. So density of the medium is more, therefore the light velocity will be reduced largely. If the density of the medium is less, light velocity will not be influenced that much. So the speed will be obstacled or will be restricted by the density of the medium, right? So anyway, mu is the reduced mass. So that mu bar is equals to 1 by 2 phi c under root of k by mu. So k is a force constant. Okay, according to this equation, this is the Hooke's law. You can see Hooke's equation. It is mu bar, that is wave number, is inversely proportional to the reduced mass. Wave number is inversely proportional to the reduced mass. Once the reduced mass is more, wave number is less. Wave number is more, reduced mass will be less. So the atoms atoms which are bonded with a single covalent bond, their reduced mass is more. For suppose they will vibrate at lower wave number value. By observing lower frequency only, they will undergoes to the vibrations. If the reduced mass between the two atoms which are covalently bonded with one another, if the reduced mass is less, then the vibration, that covalent bond requires more wave number, and the vibrational frequency will also be more. So vibrational frequency or wave number is inversely proportional to the reduced mass, that is k. The value of vibrational frequency depends on two properties. One is bond strength. Bond strength is directly proportional to the vibrational frequency. Once the bond strength is more, then vibrational frequency will be more. Once the bond strength is less, vibrational frequency will be less. So that the triple bond requires more vibrational frequency to vibrate or to undergoes to the vibration than double bond. And again, double bond requires more vibration wave number to participate in vibration compared to the single covalent bond present between carbon-carbon. So another property the vibrational frequency depends on is reduced mass. Mass of atom will also influences. Value of vibrational frequency or wave number increases the increase in bond strength. Yes, that's what I have explained in previous case. Carbon-carbon triple bond is required more vibrational wave number compared to carbon-carbon double bond. Again, carbon-carbon double bond is required more uh, vibrational frequency or more wave number to undergoes to the vibration compared to carbon-carbon single bond. This is the case applicable in all issues all time. Carbon nitrogen single triple bond requires more energy. Carbon nitrogen double bond requires less energy. Even carbon nitrogen single bond requires very less energy to undergo or to participate in vibration, right? Stretching vibrational frequency of carbon-carbon is less than stretching vibrational frequency of carbon-carbon double bond. Again, stretching vibrational frequency of carbon-carbon triple bond is more. Generally, the force constant for a single covalent bond is approximately, not the accurate value, that would be 5 into 10 to the power of 5 grams per second. Grams per second, these are the units that we have to remember. The force constant value was given in grams, 5.5 multiplied with 10 to the power of 5 grams per second. So for the double and triple covalent bond, the value will be multiplied with 2 times and 3 times, so that we will get the approximate force constant value for the double end for the double end triple covalent bonds, right? Let us go for the calculation. Let us have some example here. The value of vibrational frequency or wave number increases if reduced mass is small. Yes, that is the information I have discussed in previous slide. Reduced mass is small, then vibrational frequency will be more. Vibrational frequency will be more. If the reduced mass is less, reduced mass is more, then the vibrational frequency for is, our vibrational frequency or wave number is decreased, right? Calculate the approximate frequency of carbon hydrogen single bond stretching. Approximate frequency. Why? What is the question is, what is the vibrational frequency for carbon hydrogen single covalent bond? That vibrational frequency is stretching vibrational frequency, not bending vibrational frequency. Calculate the stretching vibrational frequency of carbon hydrogen single covalent bond. Let us go for the calculation. So mass of carbon atom, mass, it is the property contributed by the subatomic particles present in the nuclei, that are protons and neutrons. Anyway, proton mass is equals to 1 atomic mass units. To express the value in atomic mass units, even neutrons mass is also equals to 1 atomic mass units, but the value will be different in grams. So here there are 6 protons and 6 neutrons. 6 plus 6 is equals to 12. 12 atomic mass, but in grams, 1 atomic mass is equals to 1.6 multiplied with 10 to the power of minus 24. 10 to the power of minus 24. Likewise, we will be having 6 atomic mass units. Therefore, sorry, we will be having 12 atomic mass units for carbon atom. To convert that atomic mass units into grams, we have to multiply the value of that atomic mass units with 1.6 multiplied with 10 to the power of minus 24. Then we will get the value in grams. So 12 multiplied with 1.6 multiplied with 10 to the power of minus 24 is equals to 20 multiplied with 10 to the power of minus 24 grams. This is the atomic weight or mass. Actually, weight is of course, sometimes the people will say mass and weight as the same property, but in a microscopic scale, if we see, mass is the property of a matter where the gravitational attraction force will not be included, but uh, weight is the property of a matter where the gravitational force is influenced, or uh, the amount of matter present in the object under gravitational attraction force can be considered as weight. The amount of matter present in a object where the gravitational attraction force influence is not there on the matter, that is mass. So anyway, protons and neutrons, they are the very lighter particles, so that the appropriate word to express their property is mass, not weight, mass. So better to express them as mass, right? So mass of hydrogen. Hydrogen anyway contains one proton, does not contains the neutron in its nuclei. If it contains the neutron in its nuclei, that is not the hydrogen, but it is the isotope of hydrogen, deuterium. But here we are going to calculate the stretching vibrational frequency for carbon and hydrogen. Carbon hydrogen single covalent bond. Therefore, one proton containing hydrogen, its atomic mass is equals to its mass is equals to 1 atomic mass unit. Whenever it multiplied with 1.6 multiplied with 10 to the power of minus 24 value, we will get the mass in grams. Therefore, 1 multiplied with 1.6 multiplied with 10 to the power of minus 24 is equals to 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 24 grams. So with these values, we can able to identify the reduced mass. So force constant K for a single covalent bond already, that is 5.5 multiplied with 10 to the power of 5 grams per second. K is K value we know, M1, M2 values we know, so that we will get the reduced mass. Phi is the constant, and vibrational frequency is equals to 1 by 2 phi c. C is the velocity of light, and the root of K by nu. So that all values are provided. Therefore, we can able to calculate the vibrational frequency for that covalent bond. Right, frequency nu is equals to 1 by 2 phi. C and C will be cancelled in previous equation, right? Let me go for that previous equation. Here, right. Here we are calculating the vibrational frequency. Vibrational frequency. Vibrational frequency, we are not calculating the wave number. Of course, once the wave number is calculated, then it can be converted into vibrational frequency. Once the vibrational frequency is calculated, then it can also be converted into wave number. So our aim is to calculate the vibrational, stretching vibrational frequency of a carbon hydrogen single bond, so that nu by C is equals to 1 by 2 phi C in a bracket K by nu. So this C and this will be cancelled, so that we will get nu is equals to 1 by 2 phi K by nu. K by nu. So that is the value, that is the equation here we are discussing or dealing about. Right. So frequency nu is equals to 1 by 2 phi. C and C will be cancelled. K by M1, M2 by M1 plus M2. So that all values, K value we know, M1 value, M2 value we know. So phi is equals to 22 by 7. So that anyway it is there in a denominator. Therefore we will get 7 by 22. We have to invert the what is that? Value, invert the value in the sense 22 by 7 will become 7 by 22, because the 5 is there in a denominator, right? So if you substitute all these values, then we will get the final value, that is equals to 9.3 into 10 to the power of 13 seconds, right? So 9.3 multiplied with 10 to the power of 13, these many waves that will passes through a single point in 1 second of time, that is the frequency. 93 multiplied with 10 to the power of 12, 93 multiplied with 20 to the power of 12, how much number we will get? That many number of waves, that many number of waves, they will travel through the single point in 1 second of time. Therefore, that is the vibrational frequency for carbon hydrogen stretching. And you can also convert the frequency value, can be converted into wave number as follows: nu bar is equals to C by lambda, nu by C, or nu by C is equals, T is equals to 3.0 into 10 to the power of 8 meters per second. So if you multiply this value, we will get 3.1 into 10 to the power of 5 per meter, per meter. Even you can convert into per centimeters also. So this is the per meter. Even if you calculate the value, you will get per centimeter, that is equals to 3100 centimeter universe centimeter. So 3100 waves are distributed in 1 centimeter distance, so that that much waves number containing radiation is sufficient enough to make the stretching vibration of a carbon hydrogen single bond. Carbon oxygen hydrogen bond stretching absorbs at higher frequency than carbon carbon bond because of smaller reduced mass. Reduced mass is smaller for oxygen hydrogen, so that it absorbs at higher frequency compared to carbon carbon uh, bond, because smaller reduced mass, right? So these are the points I wanted to discuss about in this class. With this, I'm signing off to my presentation here, and let us discuss about the other concepts of IR spectroscopy in coming presentation. Thank you very much.